I don't know where the entrance is. I think it's up near this guy with the green jacket. And there it is. So the first thing it says is have ticket ready, which of course I don't have a ticket. Can't afford a ticket. I can't afford food until I get my next check. This is an extraordinarily wealthy church. Apparently they put all their money into facilities though instead of helping people. Let's see what we get. Alright, so here's what happened. I took the drive out here. I took the risk of running out of gas. You know, my gas tank, gas gauge doesn't work and everything. I have to go to work in about 40 minutes. I have no money, no food until I get paid next week. So I went in the front door and I said I don't have a ticket, and I told them what I'd like to do is shake Amir Tsarfati's hand and Jack Hibbs' hand. They saw the camera and they said they don't allow filming in here. So this church that represents Jesus Christ does not allow filming of their facilities. When I told them I do a video channel about homelessness and part of it's how the homeless are treated by the church, they switched to like a light switch, and I was gone in no time. I was out of there. So this is par for the course. I have to admit, this turned out a whole lot worse than I ever dreamt it would. Somewhere behind these walls separating me from them, these walls are one person, one of the very few Christian leaders who has actually bothered to respond to me by email. He was very gracious, wonderful, wonderful man, Amir Tsarfati. I also have a lot of respect for Jack Hibbs. The others in there, frankly, I don't think I care that much about, based on attempted interactions with them. So there you go, folks. That is the Understanding the Times conference, which is meant to tell people about how Bible prophecy is being fulfilled in our time. I would say the most significant prophecy being fulfilled is, because lawlessness shall abound, the hearts of many shall grow cold. That place is cold as ice, my friends. They spent a lot of money on tickets to get in there. I can't calculate the millions of dollars spent on building and maintaining these facilities. So I'm going to go back to work so that I can afford to live in my car. That is, if I survive long enough, since I don't have any food until my next check. I hope you enjoyed the conference. Alright, and there is the car I live in, and there is the multi-million-dollar church that has done absolutely nothing to help me when I've asked over 100 churches. There we go. This is my universe. This is my home. This is my world. If you could add up the collective wealth of what is in this place right now, you know what? Without hurting any person, my suffering could be all over. But it's not going to happen. Because these people just don't care. Hi, I'm back in my dank, dark dungeon here, where the Minnesota Church apparently prefers that I stay. It's about 15 minutes after I left the conference. I have to get in to work soon, so I just wanted to follow up on what just happened. mean, I'm kind of shaking a bit, and I feel like I'm in shock. That was bad. That was, as far as what happened when I went down there, I never necessarily expected that I was gonna meet Amir, but as long as he's there and I'm fairly nearby, it was worth a try. But you do expect at least courteous and humane treatment if you're going to do something like that. Going in there on the road, being tailgated, zoomed by, people breaking the law left and right, and yeah, they're turning in every direction, but that includes into the church. In the parking lot, there were many police cars. I counted at least, I want to say 4, but at least 3. So these people get police protection. When I have to sleep in this car and I'm completely vulnerable to anyone who wants to hurt me, I don't get any police protection. I don't know if I have it, but they had some, reportedly, a gang from Ilhan Omar's district. There's video of them just beating the tarnation out of some guy who they tried to steal his phone. And in the news they called him, they said that these gangs are going after vulnerable people. I mean, they ran and jumped off his body like a springboard, rode a bicycle over his body, just like a rag doll. This is the kind of stuff I have to worry about out here. I don't get police protection, but the people at the conference did. Apparently the speakers at the conference are celebrities or something. They're entitled to something that we're not. And I couldn't help but thinking, whether or not my namesake, if the Apostle Paul had a Roman guard that followed him around to keep him protected, or if he got, beat up and stoned when he went various places. I think the answer's in the Bible, but I'm not entirely sure the people at that church have read the Bible. I didn't make it 10 feet into the building, folks. I went in, there were the tables lining it. It looked a lot like, it looked like a Kiss concert to me. It said, have your tickets ready. I walk in, and this fellow had a wristband waiting for me, and I said, no, I don't have a ticket. And I tried to explain myself, but I was in such a hurry because I had to get to work. And I just said, I just wanted to see, on the off chance that Amir Tsarfati is available, I just want to, meet him, shake his hand, and then I have to go to work. And instead of answering, the guy looked down at the camera in my hand, which was turned off, and it was just hanging there at the, my hand at my side, and he said, you can't film in here. And I thought, okay, it's a church. If I were filming, why can't I? Because you've got probably a couple thousand people in this church, and every one of them has a smartphone, except me. And every one of those has video capability on it, so why was he even pointing that out? It's a church anyway. Why can't you film in there? Is that something Jesus said? Don't write down what I'm saying? I know there were a couple occasions where he did to his disciples, but to the open public, I don't remember him going out in public and then saying, shh, don't tell anybody. At that point is when I told the guy, look, I do a video channel on YouTube. Okay, it's about homelessness. I'm homeless, and a fair amount of it concerns the way that the Minnesota church treats the homeless. And as soon as I said that, he just switched like a light. Their whole demeanor just changed, and he got kind of grumpy. These are the kinds of things that are traumatizing. These are the kinds of things that those images stick with you the rest of your life. It reminds me of when I went to that Russian church. The way the lady just slammed the door in my face and walked away, left me out there in the cold. This person had no compassion at all. He had no interest in other human beings. There was nothing. There was absolutely. And as I was driving back, I just kept thinking to myself, I've met people who are into Wicca and witchcraft, atheists, some pretty bad stuff. And yet, if they just spoke the words, I'm a Christian, but they went on doing everything else the same, I can't tell the difference between them and the people at this church. Because they didn't welcome me with open arms. When they heard I was homeless, they didn't go, oh my goodness. They went like, they were shocked. They're like, oh no, I don't want to deal with this. How do I get rid of this guy? That seemed to be the main concern. And I don't know what to make of that. This is a church, and people like Amir are actually giving their time or selling it or whatever to go speak to these people. Why is he speaking to them? I don't see any evidence of Christianity there. I just see a church and people opening and closing their mouths, but I don't see any behavior or action that I can associate with Christianity. Certainly not the kind of Christianity that my namesake talked about and wrote about. It was horrible, folks. I did not enjoy that one bit. That was much worse than I thought it was going to be. I mean, I felt not just unwelcome, but I felt like I was absolutely anathema. I mean, I literally felt like these people would just prefer that I died. Just die. Go underground, 6 feet under, let us get back to our stuff. Because we're putting on the show here, and you don't matter. And again, I'm not sitting here saying, oh, gee, because I show up, everyone should drop everything and serve me. That's not the case. I was just trying. But I would expect Christians to come over and embrace me and say, what happened, brother? What's going on? They didn't do that. They were just like, got all snippy with me and frowny. And I would expect, you know, if I went up to the disciples and I told them, you know, I have to go to work, but I'm homeless and I'm poor, and Jesus has really, his words have really helped me. Can I just shake his hand and thank him and meet him and then leave? I would think they would go, even if he was speaking to a crowd of 5,000, I would think they would walk him over there and interrupt the speech and say, you know, Master, this man wants to speak to you, and Jesus would know what it's about, and I don't think he would say, you know, send him away. I'll get to him when I'm done talking. I don't think he would do that. And frankly, I don't even think Amir would do something like that if he knew anything about it. I think he would interrupt his speech to have me come over there and shake his hand and then leave respectfully immediately. I'm not there to waste his time. But the people running that show, they weren't going to make anything like that happen. They weren't going to pursue it. They could care less. I didn't see any Christianity in there, folks. This is really scary. And I've said this before, and I've incurred the ire of people who speak at these conferences, people who do the talking. They probably get paid, or they get the free airfare to travel cross country to speak on. And don't forget, this conference is supposed to be talking about how Bible prophecy is being fulfilled in our time. And I've repeatedly, whenever I've tried to contact them, I've made it clear, there is no greater sign other than Israel's existence. There's no greater sign that we're in the end times than the way that the hearts have grown cold. Not out in the world, but in the church. The church has left me to die now for more than 4 years. And this is exactly the kind of treatment I get every time I go to one of these Minnesota churches. And frankly, whenever I write to the people at other national churches. I've written to many of the speakers in these places. I don't get anything back from them. The only one I can remember of that group was Amir. Bless his heart for that. I just feel sick to my stomach. I don't even want to go to work. I mean, I felt like I got punched in the stomach by the church. And I don't even know what to make of this. And all anybody cares about is this sideshow of prophecy conferences. Like it's entertainment. I mean, this is real. I mean, do these people even believe in God? How can you behave that way toward another human being, especially someone who's in the situation I'm in? How can you do that and sleep at night? I mean, the truth is, the family that took me in, that did so much. They did more for me than everyone else combined by a factor. There's not even any room for comparison what that family did. What they did for me, the sacrifices they made, the effort they took to help me. They hated the Bible. But they treated me better than any Christian anything has. And I gotta be honest with you, right now, I don't feel like ever entering a Christian church again. And it's not to say I lost my faith, that's not the case. It's just that the apostasy is so much worse than we ever imagined it is. The church is gone, folks, it's gone. When I left, and I went out into the parking lot, and I made that little video clip, and I was leaving, and there was a woman I thought was putting little flyers on cars, and I stopped and I just asked her, because she looked like she worked there or whatever, I asked her if she was planning to meet with Amir personally at all, so that maybe she could pass him a message and say, hey, Paul from the Homeless Consultant channel was here trying to say hello to you. Hello. She was actually picking up these cards, not dropping them off. I think she had dropped them off, but she was told by the church not to do that. What they were, I have it here somewhere. I think it blew away while I was driving, but it's in here somewhere. It's something to do with the Minnesota legislature passing laws to help give sex education to kindergartners or something. I mean, like really in-depth stuff, like how to masturbate and things like that for kindergartners, which is par for the course for this legislature. So I thanked her and blessed her for what she was doing, but she was picking them up because the church told her not to put them on the cars. And there was some guy from the church, some official, he had his polo shirt. It's a really expensive polo shirt. He had a thing in his ear, some little earpiece looking like the Secret Service. And he's just like following her around, watching her. He's got this big scowl, this big mean scowl on his face. Just really creepy. You know what it reminds me of? When the first time I went to Orange County, I went and I had to see the Crystal Cathedral to see what that was all about. And believe me, I'm not impressed at all by that. I never was, but I had to see it as long as I was there. And when I went into the Crystal Cathedral, they had these guys all over the place dressed up like the CIA. They had wearing suits, or the Secret Service. They had sunglasses. They had these earpieces with these curly cords, you know, to protect Robert Schuller, because he's important apparently. I mean, my namesake can get stones thrown at him until he dies. That's fine. But you can't let anything happen to Robert Schuller or to any of these people at the prophecy conference. I mean, what is wrong with these people? This just mangled me. These people have nothing to do with Christianity. Nothing. Real Christians sacrificed, they put their neck on the line and they lost their heads. And these people can't be troubled to just listen to me talk for a few seconds and see if maybe they can get me in touch with Amir to shake his hand and leave so I can go to work. They can't even be troubled for that. This guy with the scowl out there just as I drive by, you know, I so slowed down and asked him, I was like, do you need something from me or what? No. So he's just staring at me, just scowling at me. It's like, okay, don't kill my family, all right? I'm leaving. They get all the police protection. When I go to sleep tonight, I'm not going to have any police protection. I'm open to these thugs. Housed thugs. I gotta get into work now, but this was the Understanding the Times Bible Prophecy Conference. I don't know what to say, folks. These people don't understand anything. They're so far away from Christianity. And what I was getting at before, the thing I said to a couple of the leaders, people who were speaking at this conference, when I wrote to them, was, you know, honestly, truly, without being facetious, given the state of this church, how completely distant they are from real Christianity, I don't see, when God comes back, or Jesus comes back for the rapture, I don't know who he's going to take with him. Maybe the people who are putting their necks online in China, who are having their families slaughtered in the Middle East and in Africa, maybe them, but these people in these American churches? Folks, pray for the American church. And pray for the Minnesota church in particular. These people are monsters. I don't want to go anywhere near those churches ever again. I gotta go to work, alright? I'll talk to you later. It is my birthday. I am now technically, according to the documents of this great nation and revolutions of the earth around the sun, I'm technically 52 years old. Strange thing is, inside, I feel like I am about 18. But when you look at the conditions I live in right now and how I'm going to spend this birthday, Helter Skelter seems a lot more appropriate. The fact is, for the last few weeks here's the deal. This is my 100th video for this channel. 100th. And for quite some time, at least for a couple weeks, if not more, I've been trying to think of what should I do for that big 100th video. You know, it should be a celebration. And I have a lot of ideas. I have some really big, what I think are very important videos. There's 3 of them in particular I can think of, but they require so much work and so much effort, research. The production's going to be tremendous on them, editing and such. There's just no way any of them could be ready for the 100th video. But also, I am just not having a good birthday at all. The fact is, I'm just really depressed, you know. How can I not be? When I got screwed over by the state of Minnesota and my landlord, and I started living in this car, I was 47 years old. Today I turned 52. And there is absolutely no end in sight to this. As a matter of fact, given the way that this car is deteriorating and winter's about to start, the future looks bleaker than ever. And yet, I'm working the whole time. So, I just figured I'm going to wing it this time. I mean, what else can I do? My big 100th episode or video, I'm going to just wing it. You know, I had all these ideas. I was going to fill the car with party favors and, you know, those little things that unroll and whistle and do something clever and fun, but I don't feel like doing anything fun right now. After I did the video about the trash, the very next day I pulled into work and I thought I had run over a bottle left by one of those very important business people, but whatever it was, it blew out my tire. And by the time I got all that done, all my money was gone. I had to sell more stuff, and it turns out that the rim is cracked, so it lets air out. So that tire is going to, just like the alternator filling up with oil, I have to replace the alternator periodically. Now the tire, if I don't keep air in it, I'm going to keep blowing out the tire. Oh, I wish you could see what I just saw. There's a squirrel sitting about 5 feet from my car. He's sitting up on his hind legs, just looking like one of those, that's so cute. Every time I move, he moves. Can't show you. So the tire ate all my money and I had to sell more stuff. So, you know, I had these ideas. I thought, well, I'm going to do a retrospective. I'm going to show, you know, just kind of go over those 99 videos that preceded this one. How when I first started this channel, it was about business. That's where the homeless consultant name came from. My first videos were all about business. That's something I know quite a bit about, and something I've realized that people who run businesses out here don't really know a whole lot about in all too many cases. I was very, very proud of those videos. But they took a lot of effort, and nobody watched them. So how long could I go on with that? And you know, my goal there was to present myself it was to create this cognitive dissonance. I wanted people to look and say, well, this guy's homeless and he lives in the car, but look at how competent he is. Something doesn't make sense here. I'm just trying to jolt people into realizing that homelessness is unjust. It's unfair. And you can dumb yourself down and go out there and just say, well, the homeless are a bunch of lazy bums. You can do that all you want, but there's still a reality that actually exists in the real world outside of your delusion. And that was the purpose of this channel originally, was just to demonstrate how ridiculous those stereotypes of the homeless are. And granted, I mean, don't get me wrong, there are an awful lot of homeless people who are lazy bums. But then again, in my experience throughout life, you know, working, being in charge of, you know, many, many people and things like that, the fact is, proportionally, housed people are lazier. Sorry. I think I demonstrated that in the last video to some extent with the garbage that these people leave. They're too lazy to even pick up after themselves like a, you know, dignified human being. So the retrospective requires me going back through my videos, which I can't really do with the computer dead. I can't go, I mean, I have the raw video from pretty much everything I've ever done, but that's geez, I don't know, certainly hundreds of hours, might cross into thousands. I mean, there's just no way to do that. I can't access it. It's across different hard drives. It's on a dead computer. So I couldn't really do that. You know, again, I thought of using one of those 3 really big videos I wanted to get done for my 100th episode, or video. That would have been great, but there's no way to get those done in time. Between the tire dying, to eating up all my money, the fact that it has been another just scorching, humid, sweat box week for me, where I'm just drenched in sweat. I thought about doing a video. You know, I have to renew my driver's license this time, which you can't do when you're homeless, so, you know, play the recording of the person at the DMV telling me to just use any old address. Use any old address on your application, which, in other words, you know, commit perjury, a felony. There's a government representative telling me to commit a felony.
And you have to put a friend's address or somebody's address that you can receive mail at.
Okay. Talked about in these videos so many times. I thought of doing a music video, something more complicated than I've done before. There's something really on my mind lately as I think back to when I lost my apartment. You know, when I moved to Minnesota, it immediately realized that it was a weird place. You know, I figured out the cult mentality here over time, but the people were not personable, they were not sincere. You could not form relationships with these people. So, you know, I started building my home studio in the apartment, and that was going great. Took a lot of time, took many years. As that thing just kind of crested, you know, in the middle of where I had gained the knowledge I need, and I had accumulated certain things where I could kind of start. That was the time when, within 1 year, both my parents died, and that's also the time when the noise started from the neighbors. The torture and torment from the neighbors started, and it only got worse from there. And that was over the course of many years. Almost as soon as I moved in there, I got a fish tank going. And I was very proud that up to the very end, the fish that were in there were direct descendants of the original fish. You know, maintaining a fish tank is much like administering a government. You know, if you're going to keep the fish alive, you've got to take care of everything properly. And I was very proud that I had done that. In the end, I had to just throw empty it onto the ground. I had a guinea pig that was my pet. It was my only family, my only living being that I could touch and hold and play with, you know, run around squeaking. I had to find a home for the guinea pig very fast. So I had thought about doing a song dedicated to my pets that I lost with this, which were my only family. And I gotta be honest with you, it's just too depressing. I can't even think in those terms right now. With the tire sucking all of my money, I can't even afford to take this car down. It's about 5 miles away to the dollar store to spend $1 on one of those party favors to do something for my birthday for the 100th video. I can't even afford that. I have to not eat, not drive. I have to do everything I can to try to preserve nothing while I work, I'm in the middle of my work week, while I continue working, because I have nothing left. The blown tire killed me, which of course translates back to the Minnesota Department of Health killing me. They're the ones who are the reason I'm losing all my money. $240 a month more that I lose now thanks to them. So I've got maybe this much coffee left. It's kind of cold. This is from work yesterday, so this is, 16 hours old. So for my birthday, I have to basically sit in the car, sweat. I'm too depressed to do anything productive. I can't eat. I can't really have beverages. I can't do anything. I have absolutely nothing left. That tire mangled me. It took me the whole month to save up that little bit, and it was taken away by the tire. So I don't know what to do for a 100th episode, or video, whatever you call it. I don't know. I don't know what to do. I honestly don't know what to do. I don't know what to do for my birthday. This is probably the worst birthday I've ever had in my life, and it's 7:56 in the morning. It's just getting started. Well, there you go. This channel is dedicated to documenting the reality, documenting the truth. So what can I say? Like everything else throughout my life, I had really big plans and I worked really hard to give you a big shing-ding for the 100th video. Kind of a gift to myself for my birthday, but due to circumstances beyond my control, this is what we get. And to be honest, I don't know what else to say. So thank you for watching. Those of you who have been following my videos and subscribed, I really appreciate it. I really do. I'll try to keep them coming, but I'm going to have to recharge my batteries and try to get a sense of purpose back here and wait for my next paycheck so I can at least do something, like go out and get some food or take this car and do anything other than sit in the car. The thing I just really can't help dwelling on is how all these people got away with this. All those, my neighbors who tortured and tormented me inside my own home, injected so much noise and vibration and violence and shaking into my home when I did nothing to them. They got away with it. They're still living, if not in the same place, they're living in a home. The landlord who screwed me over so royally, who pushed me out because I'm the one asking him to do the job that all of us were paying to do, to enforce his lease. He wouldn't do anything. He's just fine. All of the government officials from the very bottom at the city level, the police, the city council, all the way up to the governor, the attorney general, they got away with it. They're not even in office anymore, and they're still getting front page stories in the media. The media covers them, the media won't touch this story. Just lazy bums through and through, from bottom to top. All the lawyers I talked to just figured, well, there's no money to be made here, so since it only concerns right and wrong, and the only thing it might do is help you restore your life back, I don't have time for that. That doesn't mean anything to me personally. So forget it, kid. If you weren't aware, by the way, someday I'll do a video on this. Charles Schulz with the Peanuts, you know, Charlie Brown cartoon. He was from Minneapolis. If you ever wonder why that's probably the most depressing children's cartoon ever made, it's because he's documenting what it was like growing up in Minnesota, in Minneapolis. And one of the phrases in there was always for Charlie Brown, forget it, kid. For Valentine's Day, to get a little candy heart, it'd say, forget it, kid. There's a reason why Charles Schulz left Minnesota and never came back. The reason the Peanuts character is, the whole cartoon is just so ridiculously depressing, is because he was documenting what life is like in Minnesota for anyone who has a heart and a soul. The Minnesota Department of Health, who shut down that hotel for no good reason and set me on a path where I had to spend every bit of spare money I had, everything I was using to create savings. Now it's consumed for the exact same thing I had before, a bad hotel. Only this time it's a worse hotel and it eats all my money. So I have nothing left at all. The people at the Minnesota Department of Health, as far as I know, they're just fine. They still sleep in a bed at night. They're still laughing about it like they were when they were up there doing their Gestapo routine. Not one person has been held accountable for what has happened to me. I mean, they haven't even gotten, people don't even look at them funny. That's how little has happened. They just got away with it scot-free, free and clear. I was 47 years old when I entered this car, which was already a good about 4 years after the torture and torment started in my home. 47 when I entered this car living in it. Now I'm 52 with no end in sight. Since I can't save money anymore, the idea of replacing the computer is just gone. It isn't going to happen. I have had to fight and struggle and claw my way through technology to try to figure out how to make these videos. I finally figured out how to insert the intro with my intro music back into it. Even this little battery operated fan, if I turn it on, I don't know if you'll hear it. Sometimes it takes a while, but it's starting to make a bunch of noise. Once it gets going, it kind of goes zzz, zzz, zzz. So I don't know what to tell you, folks. If you look back through my videos and if you just kind of think about it, and in fact I made a video that shows, somewhere in there in the middle, I made a video that demonstrates how I make these videos. It's actually more complicated now than it was then even. If you take all the videos I've made, 100 of them including this one, and you take the amount of effort that goes into it and the amount of time, I don't even have a way to calculate the time. And don't forget, when I'm not working on the video specifically, I'm out researching it, I'm writing things, I'm filming, a lot of film that you don't see. When you take the amount of effort that goes into these that don't pay me anything, they're meant to document reality, to benefit society by documenting a horrific injustice. Several injustices, actually. When you look at how much effort I put into that, and then you watch these housed people sitting plopped in front of their TV with a bag of potato chips all day long, or these pretentious people who go jogging by in their spandex or on their little bicycles with their helmets that ain't gonna win in a battle against a 2,000-pound piece of steel that's traveling at 60 miles an hour, but it's nice and colorful hats, so they look cool doing it, right? They think they're so healthy, as if they're not gonna end up in that graveyard back behind me just like the rest of us someday. I don't understand why they don't spend their lives maybe improving their mind, their heart, their soul, their humanity. I don't understand why they don't put any effort into that. They put all this effort into supposedly improving their body, although they're really not even doing that, because the human body isn't meant to ride around on a bicycle for 2 or 3 hours. It isn't meant to run. The shock of your body hitting the ground due to gravity, every step they take while they're jogging is damaging their body, and they're too pretentious to figure it out. They think they're doing something healthy because television told them so. You know, Planet Fitness, all these fitness centers, they'll pay money for that. All these people are out doing all that, and they're doing just fine. But they're doing nothing. They're doing absolutely nothing with their lives. They're literally running around in circles, bicycling in circles, doing nothing to try to even improve this world that they live in. And what they're working on in terms of themselves, their body, is the least important thing. I mean, it's good to take care of your body, but it isn't hard to take care of your body. Just take care of it. The body is the most resilient thing. I mean, you look at how resilient the body really is. It's utterly amazing. You don't need to jog and bicycle to be healthy. You just need to get away from the television set for a while and experience life. And in the process of doing that, as you reach for things and walk around, your body maintains itself very strong. But in our luxury world that we have today, we don't have to walk to the well every day. We just take one step to the faucet and turn it on. Anyway, my point is, when you look at all the busy work that these people are doing, and all these very important business people in my building, they're walking around doing business, you know, they're just making deals, carrying their little backpacks, you know, they're sitting there wearing their business shirts and pants and their expensive shoes, and they're carrying the backpack like the little kid, and because someone told them that looks cool. They're just doing all this every day after day after day, all this activity, all this busyness, which is what business is. It's busyness. It's keeping yourself busy until you die, is what it is. For all that effort, the people running, the people jogging, the people doing busyness, all this stuff going on in this world, none of it matters. None of it tries to improve the world we live in a real, substantial, thoughtful way. But all I've done since I started this channel is focus my energy on trying and putting tremendous effort into it and having to be very creative and resourceful about it. I've put all this effort into something that's supposed to help this species understand the truth about a tragic, what I can only call a homeless holocaust in the United States. And this is my reward, to spend my 52nd birthday sitting and sweating inside a car with no food, or very little food, I should say. I have a couple canned goods and a couple boxes of crackers at work. And then I get to go into work to earn money that I don't even get to keep anymore, thanks to the Minnesota Department of Health. You know, I can go on like this forever, but this is my state of mind on my 52nd birthday. I'm sorry, folks. I really wanted to do some big shing-dang, you know, whistles and party favors, clever CGI graphics, some big thing for my 100th video for my birthday. But you know, this channel's here to document reality, and the reality is, this is all I can give you. Thanks for watching. I'm not gonna waste more of your time with more of this, alright? Have a good day.